Hi everybody and welcome to McNulty's Book Corral. Today I want to make a recommendation on a fantasy trilogy that I just finished reading. It's called The Dark Age Trilogy by James Wilde, who is really Mark Chadbourne, and that's not a secret, so I'm not giving anything away. He writes under the pen name of James Wilde, as well as publishing many wonderful books under his own name. I will cover some of his other books later, but I just finished reading this. What a great trilogy. Now, this is a series of books that tell about the origins of the King Arthur tale, but King Arthur plays a very, very small role in this. This is really about some of the people surrounding that birth of the future king and their obligation to protect him for the future. And it's a grim and unrelenting, brutal tale of medieval times and the Dark Ages. It's called the Dark Age Trilogy. I don't think that's a great title for the trilogy, but the first volume was called Pendragon, and then the second volume was called The Dark Age, hence the perhaps that stuck as the moniker for the trilogy itself. And then the final volume was The Bear King. Great, great piece of writing. I'm a fan of Mark Chadbourne, a.k.a. James Wilde, and I have many, many of his books. But I had just finished reading this, and I thought I'd try and be a little more timely in getting this out to you. It's really about this warrior king, Lucanus, and his beloved, Cadia, and his warrior band, who are called the Grim Wolves. And there's a lot of plot twisting going on. There's a lot of violent encounters. There's some supernatural events that occur. The character of Merlin is kind of reimagined here as Mirrodin, and so forth. However, and King Arthur plays a very small role really later in the trilogy. It's about their efforts to preserve his life, to preserve the birth, to make sure the birth happens, to keep the once and future king alive, according to their obligation that they have taken on. And it's just the level of writing. I'm a big fan of Mark Chadbourne. He's well known in the United Kingdom. He has had books published here in the United States. These, by the way, are the UK editions. I prefer to collect the UK editions of his books. It's not always possible because they're hard to get. I just collected his Hereward series, which I think is 6 books, and I'm starting to read that now, and I'll cover that in a future episode. Some of his books, when they're released in the United States, have different titles. I hate that when they do that. I think this is Bantam. Yeah, these are Bantam paperbacks too. So look for Pendragon, The Dark Age, and The Bear King on Amazon, and read these in order. 3 great hard-boiled historical fantasy fiction. Really great material. I'm really quite the fan. One of the best trilogies I've read in a long time. I don't read that much fantasy anymore because unfortunately a lot of it isn't quite that good. There's a few authors I do make a point of looking at. This guy is one of them. Again, James Wilde, a.k.a. Mark Chadbourne. You can look him up on Amazon. Highly recommended. The Dark Age Trilogy, Pendragon, The Dark Age, and The Bear King by James Wilde. Check it out if you're into slashing swords and man-to-man fighting and ancient times in the United Kingdom. I loved it. I mean, I just thought this was just a phenomenal series. It got lost in it. I read this I read Pendragon. I thought, okay, I'm hooked. And then I didn't read anything else until I finished all 3 of these. So that's just the way it works out sometimes. So here you go. And until next time, stay well and keep reading.